All right, let's dive into a pitch for a film that's designed to stick with you, to really get under your skin. We're talking about Broken Reality.
So let me ask you a question. When you think of a thriller, what pops into your head? Probably darkness, right? Shadows, jump scares, things that creep around at night. But what if we flip that on its head?
And that's exactly what Broken Reality does. It's a sci-fi thriller that finds its horror not in the dark, but in the bright, familiar light of day. It's a story about who we are, what we see, and how fragile that reality can be.
So, how does the film build this new kind of fear? Well, it all kicks off with a premise that grabs you right from the start.
Okay, so picture this. It's 2025. Our main character, Anya, is an eco-activist who's on the run, hiding out. In her new apartment, she stumbles upon this old piano. She plays a strange melody, and bam! It's not just music, it's a time machine. She's thrown into a dystopian 2028, just 3 years into the future. And who's the first person she meets? A much darker, sinister version of herself.
Now, that setup, it's not just there for the shock value. It's a jumping-off point for some really deep, thought-provoking ideas. If you're a fan of Black Mirror, you're gonna get this. It has that same vibe, the kind that messes with your head in the best way. The sci-fi element is really a mirror, forcing us to look at our own identity and the consequences of our choices. You know, what happens when you don't even recognize the person you've become?
And here's the rule that really ratchets up the tension. In the film, we see this newspaper clipping that says, it is impossible for two identical forms of life to exist in one reality. That's not just some throwaway line. It's presented as a fundamental law of physics in this world. So you've got two Anyas in one reality, you just know something has to break.
So the story is great, but what I think is really cool is how they decided to tell it. The filmmaking itself is full of these really deliberate, almost experimental choices.
The director, Mark Krol, actually said he was inspired by Ari Aster's Midsummer. You remember that movie? All that bright, sunny folk horror? He wanted to try the same thing, create a thriller where the most unsettling stuff happens when the sun is shining. There's literally nowhere for the characters or the audience to hide.
So instead of leaning on all the usual tricks, darkness, night, shadows, Broken Reality builds its dread with constant daylight, the suffocating feeling of being trapped in one place, and the main character's total isolation. It's a really fresh take that's perfect for an audience that's seen it all.
And that's not the only unconventional choice. Another key decision can be summed up with just this one number, 4:3.
Yep, the film is shot in a 4:3 aspect ratio, that old-school, almost square-like frame. And it's not just to look cool or retro, it's a storytelling tool. That square frame, as the director calls it, literally boxes Anya in, making you feel her confinement. It takes a small apartment and makes it feel like a prison cell.
And you know what? All these bold, experimental choices are working. The film is already making some serious noise on the festival circuit. This isn't just theory, it's got the proof.
I mean, just look at this. It's already won Best Short Thriller and a special jury prize for the screenplay over in India. It's gotten honorable mentions in Greece and New York. It was a finalist for Best Sci-Fi Short in Turkey. This is the kind of indirect evidence that tells you something special is going on here.
So, behind all this buzz and these awards, you might be imagining a big production. But the reality is a story of true indie filmmaking. So, when you put it all together, the sun-drenched horror, the claustrophobic framing, the award-winning script, Broken Reality is just a really ambitious and totally unique sci-fi thriller, and it's proof that you don't need a huge budget to ask some really big, unsettling questions.
Which brings us to the final question the film leaves you with. A question that really gets to the core of its theme of identity. After everything, when you're forced to look at a different version of yourself, who you really are.